Listen up, guys. Everybody knows that 2025 is going to be a great year looking back at what happened in 2021. What I want to talk about is how to identify undervalued altcoins. And the reason I want to share this with you is because I'm not a 19-year-old that just found crypto this year. I've been in crypto a really long time. You can see here I was buying Bitcoin back when it was $77. And here I bought some ETH back in 2016 when it was $12.89 per ETH. So in this video, I'm going to share with you what I'm looking at when looking at undervalued altcoins, smaller altcoins that may have a greater price appreciation potential than the larger layer one higher market cap coins. But none of this is financial advice. Please do your own research, and I am just sharing what I am noticing and patterns that I'm looking for in order to know what I want to buy. So starting out right here, Bitcoin is doing exactly what it did in 2012, 2016, and 2020. Those are the three previous Bitcoin halving years. You can see here the ROI for 2024 for Bitcoin is again right in line with the average ROI for the previous three halving years. And from this chart, you could also see on average, Bitcoin does go up in December, and you can see that with this blue line right here. So why is this important? Well, looking at Ethereum, in 2021, it ended up doing a 5x, and in 2017, Ethereum did a 91x. For XRP in 2021, it did a 3.5x, but in 2017, it did a 341x. And lastly, taking a look at Solana, and there's a reason I am talking about this. I'll explain all of this later in the video. Solana in 2021 did a 93x at the end of the year, with a peak around 140x. So you're probably asking yourself, Aaron, why are you talking about what happened in 2021 and 2017? Well, it's because those are years after the Bitcoin halvings. So like I shared earlier, this year is on average doing exactly the same as it did in 2012, 2016, and 2020. And that would look like it would repeat what things did in 2017 and 2021, where altcoins went bananas. And if you've been in the space for any period of time, you probably already have some larger coins. Now, some of the larger coins can just be the top 50. A lot of layer ones, we have Solana, XRP, Ethereum, Cardano, Avalanche, Chainlink, Polkadot. There's a lot of coins that have done really well. And I want to start out before going into smaller coins that I am looking at and how I am picking these coins in a true altcoin season, which everything is right now pointing to that, including Donald Trump's cabinet being incredibly bullish on crypto, all sorts of things with him coming into office, like I've covered in previous videos. Everything is pointing to a really great 2025. And most coins just pump in an altcoin season, and we haven't even begun the true altcoin season yet. But just in the top 100 coins, a lot of coins over the last week are up 50% and much higher over the last month. I'll talk more about layer ones and DeFi protocols and older coins that I have invested in future videos. So if you have not subscribed, definitely go ahead and do so. And also, if you want to talk to me one-on-one, because I just can't respond to people's YouTube comments, there's just too many, I'll include a way to do that at the end of the video. So I think a lot of narratives and sectors are going to do very well in 2025. Everything from older DeFi coins like Uniswap, Aave, and Compound to meme coins. And then we have the three big ones that a lot of other content creators are talking about, but I believe, and I'll talk about why, they actually will have a very, very good 2025. That'll be AI, gaming, and real world assets. And in this video, I'm going to touch on some low cap, meaning smaller market cap altcoins that fall into these categories. So artificial intelligence, AI, whether you like it or don't like it, it's a trend that is not going anywhere. It is massively building momentum, as you can see here, where they project how large of an industry this will grow in 2030. And NVIDIA is growing like mad, and there's a reason for that, because they are providing the GPUs that AI companies need in order to perform the functions of AI. And also, if you're like me and you've actually used AI, even with ChatGPT, you realize just how insanely powerful it is and how it is revolutionizing everything. So the first coin in the AI sector that I want to talk about is called Sensei. Now, they are a very small market cap coin ranked 991. And what they do is they are personalized AI agents. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what an AI agent is, basically when you go to a website, they can essentially replicate a real person. And you don't even know you're talking to an AI and not a real live person on the other end. They can do everything from booking appointments to scheduling things to doing everything a real person can. It's incredibly disruptive, and the marketplace is going to be huge and is going to get bigger and bigger as every single service company, from automotive to real estate to everything in between, realizes that they can save a lot more money and increase their productivity with AI agents. Now, what Sensei does is a little bit unique. They say they are pioneering digital immortality with authorized AI autonomous personal replicas. So that's a little bit dystopian to some people, but regardless of what you think, I think that this is a narrative that will just get bigger and bigger. And taking a look at the price of Sensei, it has seen an insane surge, but it did have a surge earlier this year as well. So is this a good time to buy? I really can't tell you that. Usually when you see two massive green candles, it's often a time to wait for there to be a correction, but you just never know. The next company I want to talk about is Humans.ai. This is a company with a $238 million market cap or so it's still pretty small. And they are also tackling the whole AI agent issue, which again, like I talked about, is going to be and is something huge. And there's some big news coming out with this company, and that's why the price, I think, is going up quite a lot. They had a spotlight at NVIDIA's AI Summit in Mumbai recently, and they unveiled the world's first decentralized AI worker. So they've partnered up with NVIDIA, and NVIDIA is an enormous company, and I don't really see them stopping their growth either. They've also partnered up with Ether Cloud with a $100 million bonus. Same thing with Ocean Protocol. So they are very networked in the space of AI. So again, I just think they are doing big things in this space. And a lot of what drives the price up is attention. And the attention on AI is just something that, again, I personally, not financial advice, I personally just don't see going away. And the price of Humans AI has had a recent surge, but if I was going to pick up quite a bit, it'd probably be at this level or so. I do have some, but if I were to load up my bags even harder, if we see a correction, right now we're at around 3.7 cents. If we got down to like 2.4, I would be loading up. But back in March, we saw it go even higher. So this coin, this project has been around for a while. And you can see even going back to 2022, it had a huge surge. So in retrospect, I mean, it's still looking pretty good compared to its all-time high, but totally up to you. I'm just letting you know what I would be doing. So the next coin I want to talk about, still related to AI, but also kind of merging that and real-world assets, is Pinlink. Now, Pinlink has been getting a lot of attention from different people online, and 2 weeks ago I made a video talking about Pinlink, and it was 50 cents then. Now it is $2.50. So congrats if you did pick up that project 2 weeks ago and I talked about it. So Pinlink is, in my opinion, the intersection of real world assets, AI, and also DePIN, which means decentralized physical infrastructure networks. Pinlink allows owners of DePIN assets to create more revenue streams, which is one of the major benefits. And on Pinlink's Twitter today, they mention that the US Treasury report talks positively about the tokenization of interoperable ledgers. This really aligns with what Pinlink's vision is. So I get it, really weird, a lot of big words, but they are doing big things in these really, really humongous industries. The whole tokenization of assets is one of the things that Pinlink is up to, and BlackRock, which has assets over $11.5 trillion, they are all about the tokenization of real world assets. So this is something that even if you're like, I don't get it, it is something that is happening in the background. But I always suggest if you're going to buy something to understand what it is, Because like I've talked about in previous videos, if inevitably when they happen, when altcoins and Bitcoin have corrections in a bull market, if you don't know what you're holding, you are going to want to sell that coin at a loss when we are at a very, very big red candle. In this chart I showed in my last video, remember way back in 2021, if we just zoom in right here, we can see some pretty big drawdowns for Bitcoin. In January of 21, we saw a drawdown of over 25%. Then in February, over 22%. Then in March, a drawdown of over 16%. And then obviously we saw the summer of 2021, which was really rough. We saw a 52% drawdown of Bitcoin. So I bring that up because I'm not telling you to buy any of these coins. I want you to find sectors, find things that interest you, that you understand, and that you won't be tempted to sell if we see Bitcoin have a 20, 30, 40% drawdown, which again is normal in a bull market. And then if Bitcoin was to pull back 30%, your altcoins are probably going to pull back 30% or more. That's usually what happens. So you have to be very, very careful and know what you're buying. So back to Pinlink, they are partnering with other companies to create layers of decentralization for online privacy infrastructure. A lot is going on with this company, and it is one that I own. And it's one, again, that I shared when it was like 50 cents and now it's $2.50. So if you happen to buy it, you're probably in a good spot right now. So I'm going to touch on gaming in just a moment. There are two coins I want to talk about in this video. First, though, I want to talk about Axon DAO, which I mentioned 2 weeks ago at around 30 cents or so. And what Axon DAO is doing is it's massively disrupting the medical field, something that I feel very, very passionate about. So the issue right now is that if a researcher wanted to research a topic and get money and funding to research a topic, that goes against the grain of, say, the university they work at. So whether it's something that just isn't widely approved, or it's looked at a little bit critically, or it just doesn't go with the current narrative, they won't get funding for that, or it's just really, really hard to do so. What Axon DAO does is it allows the community, since it's a DAO, to vote and propose different projects that we as the DAO can then fund. And this is what's called decentralized science, or DeSci, essentially having more transparency over the data that they are collecting. So that's something that is really cool right here. Recently, Axon DAO said they're having an AMA to discover Cure Ring, the smart ring that's revolutionizing personal health. 20 plus biomarkers, sleep tracking, heart health monitoring, AI-powered health coaching, etc. And one of the benefits is that this is integrating with Axon DAO. So what usually happens is this data is then sold to other companies. Like if you have one of those rings or watches, that data is not yours, you don't own it, and you are being monetized. With a project like Axon DAO, that entire model gets flipped on its head, and it's very, very cool. So Axon DAO launched their governance token back in March or so, and there was a sell-off, but we have seen a pretty solid rally, and this chart actually looks a lot healthier to me. Now, again, none of this is financial advice. Please do your own research, etc., etc. Not telling you to buy this. But for me, this looks like a much healthier chart. We're not seeing one giant green candle go up to the sky. I mean, we did see a couple green candles in a row, but then we saw a correction. We saw another boost, and now we're seeing another correction. So I like this chart, but I also really like what their mission is and what they're actually doing. So before I talk about gaming, which is already enormous, and I think it's just going to get bigger with blockchain gaming, I first want to mention that if you want to ask me questions and you want to get access to me and a lot of other benefits, I have a Patreon and Discord, and you can get access to that with a link below. So a lot of people want to ask me questions, but I really just can't respond to people in the video comments. Not because I don't want to, just because there are hundreds and thousands of people asking questions. So I just kind of limit those to people that are essentially paying for my Patreon. I'm also doing a lot more daily updates or just anything I'm seeing in the charts. Something that looks good to me, whether it's a trade that looks good, whether it's a coin that looks really good. I also have some experts in there sharing some technical analysis, really going deep into the charts as well. Plus a lot of other benefits, link below if you want to check that out. So let's talk about video games. Personally, I'm not a huge gamer, but I can appreciate the industry, and that's what I'm here to do. looking at trends, looking at where the money is flowing, looking at where the interest is, and then buying projects before other people buy it, right? Not buying green candles that have gone up 1,000% over the last 30 days, but looking at projects that I think are undervalued and I think still have potential. My experience with video games really ended in middle school, where I would go over to friends' homes and play Madden or play GoldenEye on, I believe, N64, or Need for Speed on PlayStation 1. Yes, I am that old that I had a PlayStation 1. Regardless, this is a video game market revenue worldwide from 2019 to 2029. All you got to know is that it's going up. It's going up over time. And the first coin I want to talk about in the gaming sector is Altura. 2 weeks ago, I mentioned Altura at 82 cents. It's now sitting at 13 cents. It was recently quite a bit higher, I believe, at around 15, 16 cents just a few days ago. So Altura says that they are the ultimate platform for building and scaling Web3 games. So they've already partnered with a lot of other existing Web3 gaming communities, which is really, really advantageous to them. And for developers, they seem to be number one. In this video they put out on their Twitter the other day, they say it's the complete AI toolkit for GameFi developers. You can create non-player characters very, very easily. And this is really cool too. Play Wallet is your all-in-one gaming wallet, which integrates effortlessly across Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and mobile. So anything that can help bridge Web 2 to Web 3, Web 2 being just somebody playing on their Xbox, right? And helping them easily integrate into Web 3, where they can have a tokenized NFT and they can interact with the blockchain and they can interact with crypto, essentially. That to me is very, very exciting because, like I showed earlier, gaming is huge. Gaming is enormous. Even though I don't play games, I know how big it is. So I'm here to look at trends and to see what is going to happen before it's going to happen. And that's one of the reasons that I like Altura. Now, the chart for Altura is looking kind of frothy, not going to lie. Recently, we saw a pretty big surge, but back in 2021, it was even bigger. I mean, back in 2021, we saw just, God candles all the way to the sky. But recently we have seen a pretty big surge. So this is one to keep an eye on. Whether or not you want to buy it now, totally up to you. Again, I'm not telling you to buy anything. All I'm doing in this video is helping you see what are the trends and where is the money going to flow. And gaming is one of those. And the next one is Medicaid right here. They are a low market cap coin, $66 million. And what they are doing is huge for gaming as well. Not only do they have a great website, which I hate to say matters, because when people are like, oh, like what's the coin? They're like, oh, it has a cool website. Well, okay. So this stuff matters, especially when they are in the gaming world. And one of the reasons that I like Medicaid is because it's on Base. And if you're unfamiliar with Base, it's a layer 2 built with Coinbase. Yes, the Coinbase. Coinbase being like the #1 crypto app probably forever, especially in the US. If you want to buy crypto and you Google how to buy crypto, Coinbase is going to come up. So anything that is connected to Coinbase, which I'll make a future video on because I think there's a lot of gems there, already makes me like it more. I just think as a developer, if you're building on some unknown platform, or if you're building on a platform connected to Coinbase, I think you should pick the one that's connected to Coinbase. So just like Altura, Medicaid is geared toward developers. So they say whether you're an experienced developer or an aspiring builder, we provide the tools and support to bring your game ideas to life and make your mark in the evolving Web3 landscape. So let's take a look at the pricing really quick for this coin. Yeah, we're seeing some pretty high price appreciation recently. So that could be a reason to hold off if you want, or if you think it's going to go higher, it could go higher. Way back in March of this year, we saw a really big wick going up very high, but this is a level right here that I would look at picking up a large bag of this if it were me. Again, not financial advice, blah, blah, blah. But if the price came down to around 2.5 cents or so, right now we are hovering at around 4 cents, I would be buying. And if you're curious, like, hey, Aaron, I can't buy a lot of these coins on Coinbase or on Gemini or Kraken. How do I get this stuff? Well, two answers for that. The first, a lot of these coins, you have to use something like MetaMask or another self-custody wallet, or also known as a hot wallet, where that could be a future video in and of itself. I'll cover more of that in my Patreon Discord. But also, a lot of these coins are going to be hanging out at BTCC. And if you want to find these coins and to buy these coins, or if you are an experienced trader, you can definitely take advantage of a lot of their bonuses here. They have a total prize pool of $10 million, 10 million USDT. So if you are a trader, or if you want to try to find these coins at BTCC, where a lot of them are hiding because they are just smaller market cap coins, I will leave the link to sign up to BTCC below. And the big reason that these coins are not on Kraken, Gemini, Coinbase is because they're really small. And in order to get on big centralized exchanges like a Coinbase or a Kraken, you have to pay a lot of money, millions of dollars often, depending on the size of their coin, in order just to get listed. Same thing applies to Binance, right? There's a lot of reasons that small cap coins just can't be on these big exchanges. But in a future video, so make sure to subscribe, I will be talking about how to find coins that have a high likelihood of getting on Coinbase, because that is something, or it's another way of looking at what coins maybe to take positions in. Because right when coins launch on a centralized exchange, usually there's a ton of attention, a ton of volume, and that alone is the reason that the coin can pump. But again, subscribe to that because I'll talk about it in a future video. So that is it for the video. I hope you guys and ladies are doing wonderful. Till next time, guys, talk with you soon, and bye for now.